and welcome back. So today we are doing flight from Birmingham in the UK towards Belfast in Ireland. It's a 300 nautical mile flight, around 50 minutes. We just finished the pushback and we are ready to taxi. Taxiway in use is runway 15. So release parking brakes and let's go. Thrust at 30% and 1. Local QNH is 1030. And airport elevation 327 feet. So it's showing 340 or nearly 350. So it's okay. Auto brake is set on ejected takeoff. Flaps 5 are set. Seatbelt signs on. Now for the takeoff, we take off runway 15. Fly runway heading for about 5 miles to only 1 mile. And then we turn left on heading 027 towards intercept only 025. Then another left turn towards Trent. So let's put some lights on. Taxi lights, runway lights. Start ignition switches to continuous. Strobe lights. Seatbelt sign is on. Delta 2. So we need to continue on that taxiway till the holding point. So this is an intersection departure that we cannot really use, although we are not that heavy. But probably we will go till the holding point down there to a full runway length. So, runway is at our left. We are now parallel with the runway. Alpha 6 taxiway. Thrust idle. So after Trent, the flight plan will turn left towards Wallasey, Isle of Man, and then Belfast. Winds in Birmingham is 140 at 15. So it's nearly a headwind for runway 15. Approaching now the holding point. So we can either here turn left or the next one. Let's take the next one. Okay, so we have a little fuel in the center tanks, 1000 kilo. We have done 6500 kilos total fuel. Okay, now we are approaching the holding point Alpha 2, and then we can stop before entering the runway. Left turn. And stop at the holding point. On Alpha. Landing lights can come on, and we are cleared for takeoff, runway 15. So climb straight ahead on the heading 147 until reaching the Onili 018, and then we turn left. So Onili is tuned on nav1, and the radial from Onili 018 is set. We can align now with the runway. Put some thrust. .47 is coming now. So, thrust at 40, forward pressure stable, takeoff power set.
$80 knots.
V1 rotate. Pitch at 5. Continue. Pitch at 10.
Positive rate.
Gear up. Maintaining pitch 10. Flaps 2.
400.
Flaps 1. Flaps up, reducing thrust. Autopilot on heading 147 and waiting for the Onili 018. Auto thrust at 240. Flaps up, no lights, gear off. A little overspeed here. So only 2 nautical miles. And then we turn left on heading 027. Now and at that heading we will intercept the only 25 at 5.5 nautical mile. Let's continue left turn 200.
Thousand to go.
So 5.5, we do a left turn 003. Let's do a 0. And on that turn we should intercept only 15 at 10 nautical miles. And on that heading we should go towards intercept the trend 357. So let's tune trend, identified, and on the course 357. So we should do a 340 on the heading. So trend is at 33 nautical mile. After trend we turn left on 290, 294 radial towards Wallasey. So engage Warlock, and we can tune Wallasey on 114.10. So the Wallasey viewer is identified, 74 nautical mile. We can now increase the speed to 250, and at trend it's the end of the sit. With the 6,000 feet restriction we can climb to our flight level 220. trend 27 nautical mile on the course 357. We do have a little tailwind, 24 knots. Heading north towards trend, 23 nautical mile. And on that heading we can intercept the Wallasey 294. So let's do that. We go to heading mode first, 360, switch to the Wallasey VOR, 114.1, identified, change the course to 294, and we can engage Volok when within the range. So for the moment we are outside the 2 dots. And Wallasey is 66.5 nautical mile. After Wallasey we can also tune the Isle of Man on F2, 112.2, and Belfast will be 117.2. So the needle starts approaching. We have nearly 2 dots deviation. Two dots. So the new altitude will be flight level 220. We can engage Volok. It's now captured. Let's go for a 30 degrees intercept. Three, 2, 4. And we can climb flight 220, and we can suppress the landing light, taxi light, start switches to off, wheel well light off, seatbelt signs on auto. And we can also select standard altimeter. On this heading we are about to intercept the 294 course towards Wallasey. And Wallasey is at 56.5 nautical mile. One dot deviation. passing flight level 080 or flight level 220. Outside temperature is -4. And we are now turning left towards Wallasey. So Wallasey 50 nautical mile, passing flight level 01100 for flight level 220. Increase the speed to 285.
Ladies and gentlemen, please continue to observe the fasten seatbelt sign until the captain has switched it off. We do recommend for your comfort and safety that you keep your seatbelt securely fastened throughout your flight. There is a call bell, reading light and fresh air vent in the panel just above your head, and we'd like to remind you that this is a strictly non-smoking flight and all toilets are fitted with smoke detectors. We invite you to sit back, relax and enjoy your flight with us.
So at Wallasey we will turn right on the heading 308 towards Isle of Man, which is now receiving. 113 nautical miles to go. India Oscar Mike is the ident of that VOR. Wallasey is now 42 nautical miles. So the time and destination is 1402, 216 nautical mile, and that's about 35 minutes from now. So we look at the cabin altitude. Cabin altitude is indeed increasing, and cabin temperature is 24 degrees. APU bleeder can come off. All the rest is still good. We still have a few 10 kilo fuel, so we have indeed a low fuel on the center tank light. We can switch the fuel pump off. So Wallasey is 31.5 nautical mile. So we should be reaching the cruise level just before, or 10 miles before Wallasey. So Wallasey is indicated here. and the green banana arc is the moment we reach cruise level. Wallasey is about 23 nautical miles. So at 20 we will switch the VOR, so we will first go to heading mode 292, switch to the Isle of Man VOR, change course to 308 and re-engage Vorlock. So 20 nautical mile is now reached. Heading mode, heading select, we can switch to the Isle of Man of 112.2, and on nav2 we tune Belfast, which is already received. Adapt the course to 308 and engage Vorlock. Now first go left and right, but that's the way it is.
1,000 to go.
He wants to catch that radial as soon as possible. In the meantime, we are nearly reaching the cruise of flight level 220. And after Isle of Man, we use a 309 course towards Belfast. So on Belfast we will use the ILS runway 17. So let's check that now, if it is already there. ILS 7, okay. So the ILS runway 17 is 110.9er with a heading of 165 and an identification of India Foxtrot Tango. Runway length is a short runway, 6,200 feet only, so we surely will use auto brakes 3 and try not to float too much. We are now intercepting the 308 radial course towards Isle of Man. So we are at flight 220, so we should descend times 3, so 22 times 3, 66. So around 70 nautical miles from Belfast we should start to descend. And we should be at Belfast on around flight level 100. Should be good enough. theory we could switch off the engine anti-ice as we are in cruise, but it is a short cruise because in 50 miles we have to descend, so we leave the engine anti-ice on. Outside temperature is -16 and there are some clouds in the vicinity. Now, because the course is so close, we could also tune, go direct Belfast. So go to heading mode, select Belfast 1117.2. And Belfast is identified, and we can switch Volok. We can stay on this heading. Just have to be precise to 1 degree. So Belfast is now 120 miles, and we can tune the ILS already. So ILS is 110.9er. Both sides 110.9er, and the course would be 165. And in order to intercept the ILS at Belfast, we will turn left on the radial 325. And we use that radial for 22 nautical mile, and we will descend from 6,000 feet to 3,000 feet. So airport elevation at Belfast is 268, so we select 250 here, and that is good. Cabin temperature is still good, 24 degrees. Belfast is 108 nautical mile. Belfast 100 nautical mile. So in 35 nautical mile we can, or 30 nautical mile, we start to descend. approximately above the Isle of Man VOR, which is 33 nautical mile ahead. So 20 miles to go for the descent. So on the FMC, what do we have? Dimly we see the end of the 325 radial. We should be at flight level 60. Belfast 80 miles, so 10 miles to go. Isle of Man 16 nautical miles to go. So we will descend a little before the India Oscar Mike VOR. .74 nautical mile, 4 to go. We do have some clouds now at this level. Belfast 70.5, so disengage VNAV, decrease the speed to 250 knots, and decrease the altitude to flight level 100. And we start to descend 1800 feet per minute. So we were indeed descending early. This is the top of descent calculated by the FMC, and we are now below the VNAV path, but that is okay. Better below than too high. We just passed the Isle of Man VOR. Don't know if we can see anything. Probably not. So Belfast is now 54.5 nautical mile. We are descending to flight level 100. Local QNH is 1020. We can preset that 1020 1920. So passing now flight level 175 or flight level 100. Select seatbelt signs on. Belfast 42 nautical mile and passing flight level 155 or flight level 100. We can go now to heading mode, heading select, and pick up the 325 radial and re-engage forelock. So speed 250 knots, passing flight level 142 or flight level 100. Transition level in Belfast is flight level 60 as in the UK. So what we can do also on the fixed page is to indicate runway 17, 32 nautical mile, and place 2-3 rain ring, one at 4 miles, the second ring at 10 miles, and a third ring at 20 miles. And this is the 20-mile ring appearing on the ND of the first officer. So Belfast is now 28 nautical mile. Belfast 24.5 nautical mile, passing flight level 113 for flight level 100, speed 250 knots. Any speed restriction? Belfast no, but we can probably reduce it to 230 in the descent on that 325
1,000 to go.
radial. So approaching now the flight level 100. Belfast 20 nautical mile. And we are leveling at flight level 100. So thrust increase to about 63-65%, 64 to maintain the 250 knots. Belfast 14 nautical miles. 10 nautical mile, reduce speed 230. Time of arrival is now 14:07 Zulu. That's 15 minutes from now. With overcast below. Outside temperature is -8. We are passing the Belfast BOR, so we will intercept now the 325 radial anytime. Now and we descend to 5,000 feet. Reduce the speed to 220 knots. We can switch nav2 onto the ILS. So we stay on this radial for 22 miles. And we can go to the local QNH of 1020. And also put some lights on, landing light, taxi lights, and the start switches to continuous. So Belfast 10 nautical mile. Belfast 14.5. Belfast 17 nautical mile, 5 miles to go. We can continue the descent to 3,000 feet. So at 22 nautical mile, it will be a right turn to heading 075. Pre-select that. Passing flight level 065 for 3,000 feet. (22 nautical mile), turning right, heading 075, and start reducing the speed to 180 knots. We can select flaps 1. And switch to the ILS on nav 1, 165. So, identification India Foxtrot Tango is selected 165 as heading 25 DME. So, correct ILS is tuned, and after that heading we will turn right to heading 135 to intercept. There is the 3,000 feet banana arc, green banana, speed 210, flaps 2.
Thousand to go.
Turning right. Yes, the localizer is already there. And reduce to 160 when convenient. Flaps 5. Leveling at 3,000 feet and speed reducing to 160 knots. Just overshoot the ILS a little. Coming back. Flaps 10. Leveling 3000 feet. Speed 160 knots. Auto thrust off. Thrust at 50%. A little more. %. (23 DME) runway.
$2,500.
Approach mode armed. Speed 170. Nearly established on the localizer now. (19 DME). Maintaining 3000 feet. Auto brake is set at 3. And are established on the localizer. Runway 17. 18 DME. Waiting for the glide. (16 nautical miles to the runway). Increase thrust slightly. 59. Maintain the speed. A little more. 61. Still no sign of the glide slope. DME. DME. A little more thrust. 63% now. DME. 11. Finally, the glide slope is live. Speed 160. 10 DME. .5 DME. .0 gear down. Gear down 3 green, flaps 15. Descending now with the glide. .7 DME. Passing 2,500 feet. Reduce thrust a little. 64%. Six nautical mile. 0 visibility to the ground. Reduce thrust 5 miles, so select flaps 25. And flaps 30. increase the speed 150. Ooh, more thrust. 73%. There's some gusty wind. 71%. 150 knots. Passing 1000 feet, runway inside, autopilot off,
1,000.
continue the descent. Three white, one red.
500.
Two white, two red,
400.
decreasing,
300.
Light slow.
decreasing the
Light
rate.
slow. Light slow.
200.
Light slow. Light slow. Light slow.
100.
Slow. Light slow. Light slow.
50.
Light
40.
slow.
30. 20. 10.
Close thrust. Now I take it. This kind of visibility was
80 knots.
rather poor. Stow the reverses and auto brakes off. Flaps up.
Thank you
Less
for
than
flying
300
Ryanair.
feet for the
Last
landing
year,
rate.
over 90% of our flights arrived on time. We hope you enjoyed yours, and we look forward to welcoming you on board again soon. Ryanair. Low fares, made simple.
Flight director off.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're all very welcome to this airport. For your own comfort and safety, please remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened until the aircraft has come to complete stop and the captain has switched off the fasten seatbelt sign. Please refrain from smoking until you have reached the designated smoking area, which is well outside the terminal building. On behalf of your crew on board today, we'd like to thank you for choosing to fly with us, and we wish you a safe onward journey.
So let's exit here on the left. Landing lights off. Runway turn off. Lights off. Start switches to continuous off. And strobe lights off. and start also the APU. Probably on the wrong side of the airport, so let's stop here. And set the parking brakes on. Check the replay. Here we were a little low. A little fast also, probably. But it didn't look too heavy. Let's see from the side. Plant. Boom. Probably fairing a little too early. So we cannot leave the replay with the plane not stopped. Otherwise it crashes.
2500.
So
2500.
in fact, I was on the good side, but probably not far enough.
$2,500.
Okay.
20.
Stop the replay and quit it, and bang. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Okay, well, probably I shouldn't use the replay anymore. So that's the end of this flight. Next flight is probably going to Vagar, the Faroe Island. And the next one will be to Keflavik in Iceland before going to Canada. Gander. See you next time. Have a good afternoon. See you soon.